Is it just me, or does it genuinely feel like the car scene is dead? Not struggling, not in transition, just hollow. Because the aura that supercars once had, that sense of mystique, individuality and cultural importance, feels completely absent from the modern era. About 15 years ago, supercars didn't just exist as expensive machines. They represented moments. They represented ambition, excess, beauty, engineering, arrogance. They were posters on bedroom walls, screensavers on school computers, and the center of playground conversations. I vividly remember being a kid in the late 2000s, going into school and talking with my friends about cars like they were mythical creatures. The Bugatti Veyron, the Koenigsegg Agera R, the Lamborghini Aventador, the Ferrari 458 Italia, the Audi R8. These cars weren't just fast, they meant something. Each one had a distinct personality, a clear identity, and a design language that you could recognize instantly without needing to see a badge. They were beautiful, they were dramatic, they felt special, and for many people, they were the reason they became car fans in the first place. Now, fast forward to today, and honestly, most modern supercars just suck. Not because they aren't fast, not because they aren't technologically impressive, but because they're soulless. Almost all of them share this increasingly homogeneous design philosophy. Every manufacturer is obsessed with chasing the same hyper-aggressive, angry, over-styled look. Sharp headlights, excessive vents, forced creases, fake aero. Everything looks like it's trying far too hard to intimidate you rather than impress you. And in the process, brand identity has been completely eroded. Let's visualize this with some examples. Take the Bugatti Veyron, an icon. Its rounded, almost chubby proportions were completely unorthodox for a hypercar, but that's exactly what made it special. It didn't look aggressive. It looked composed, elegant, confident. And that contrast between its soft, flowing design and its absurd, world record-breaking performance made it even cooler. It didn't need to scream. It didn't need angry headlights. It let the engineering do the talking. Now look at the Bugatti Chiron. It's essentially the Veyron on Ozempic. Suddenly the headlights are narrow and aggressive, like the car is permanently frowning. The surfaces are sharper, the proportions more tense, and while it's still objectively impressive, something fundamental was lost. The weirdness, the charm, the unmistakable Bugatti identity that made the Veyron timeless rather than trendy. Then there's the Ferrari 458 Italia. A genuinely perfect car, not just by Ferrari standards, but by design standards in general. It balanced aggression with elegance flawlessly. It followed Ferrari's traditional aesthetic philosophy without overdoing anything. No unnecessary vents, no excessive carbon fiber theatrics, no design clutter. It was the purest expression of less is more. You appreciated it because it wasn't shouting at you. It trusted its own beauty. Now compare that to what Ferrari is doing today, specifically the Ferrari F80. And honestly, if you removed the badge, would anyone genuinely guess this was a Ferrari? Because I wouldn't. It doesn't resemble Ferrari's design heritage at all. The proportions are awkward, the car is bizarrely elongated, and that black stripe running across the front of the hood is genuinely ugly. Yes, you can argue it serves cooling or aerodynamic functions, but let's be honest, it's there because Ferrari is chasing this hyper-aggressive, almost concept car aesthetic that photographs well on Instagram but ages horribly in real life. It doesn't feel like a Ferrari. It feels like Ferrari cosplaying as a futuristic tech company. And finally, Lamborghini. The Aventador is one of the most visually captivating supercars ever made. Not just for Lamborghini, but across the entire industry. It looked outrageous without being ridiculous, sharp without being over-designed, exotic without looking alien. The sound, the colors, the presence, everything about it felt dramatic in the right way. Now look at the Lamborghini Revuelto. The front end looks like a spider, or a bug, or some kind of origami experiment gone wrong. There are so many sharp edges, unnecessary cuts, and forced 3D surfaces that the design becomes visually exhausting. It doesn't feel cohesive. It feels like a collection of ideas rather than a unified shape. And maybe this is just me, but it doesn't look like a Lamborghini. It looks like a distant cousin of one. That's the recurring theme with modern supercars. They're losing their identity. They're converging into this same aggressive, over-styled visual language that prioritizes shock value over timelessness. Everything looks angry. Everything looks sharp. Everything looks disposable. And to make matters worse, the industry as a whole is heading down an increasingly bleak path. Hybridization everywhere. Electric assistance replacing naturally aspirated engines, artificial sound, artificial drama, artificial emotion. Yes, these cars are faster than ever. Yes, they're engineering marvels, but they don't make you feel anything anymore. And that's the real tragedy. Because the car scene didn't die due to lack of innovation. It died because manufacturers forgot that cars aren't just machines. They're supposed to have a soul.